Welcome aboard Friday's market wrap up here, TOPGUN Options. My name is Matthew Buckley. My call sign is Wiz, and wow, what a range of emotions today. Right there on your screen is like a EKG of the Fed Chairman Warsh's speech out at the Beautiful People's Conference at Jackson Hole. I mean, look at that. He started speaking at 10, didn't like what he initially had to say, loved what he had to say, and then didn't like what he had to say. Really was a range of emotions, and we'll dig into that. His presentation here in a couple minutes. Quick reminder, on September 8th and 9th at 10 a.m. Eastern, I'm going to knock out 2 complimentary live trade briefs. And then on the 9th, Wednesday night, I'm going to do another one at 7 p.m. Eastern, an options weapons school demo. You do not want to miss this, folks. We're going to talk about war, sadly, hot war, and economic war. We're going to talk about Warsh and what's going on with the Fed. The election's coming up. I guarantee you, listen to me, sit up straight. The market is not pricing in what is going to happen with either a Democrat House and or Democrat Senate. We're going to have a bad time here in the fall if that happens. And obviously the AI bubble. Man, we're going to talk about NVIDIA in a couple seconds here as well. My model portfolio is up over 65% year to date, while the S&P is struggling along there at 12%. And it's funny because 90% of professional money managers that get paid to do this can't even beat the S&P 500, and it's up 12%. Head to go.topgunoptions.com/full throttle. And remember, folks, if you can't attend, you got to register and I'll get you access to that replay. You also want to opt in right now so you can get this bullish on America report. Even with everything, the bad that's going to be coming in the fall, I could not be more bullish longer term on the S&P 500. And for, a couple grand today, you could potentially make 6 figures in profit. Go read more about that at go.topgunoptions.com/full throttle. Really interesting, man. Radcliffe, the CIA chief, made a secret trip to Moscow. Ain't too secret, right? When we can see and track planes. But I've said this for years, folks. You back Vladimir Putin into a corner. I'm shocked. I got to be honest with you. I'm shocked he hasn't used nukes to date in Ukraine. I'm shocked he hasn't picked up the phone and called Kyiv and said, you know what, either stop or I'm going to level this entire city. Man, I don't want that to happen, but even people in the Kremlin are starting to get a little worried that he might use nukes. What do you think is going to happen to the S&P 500 if that happens? Moscow is warning they might start targeting Brit military facilities. Why? They're giving these Storm Shadow missiles that are a British and French design to Ukraine, and they're hitting deep in Mother Russia here, man. So the Ministry of Defense, or whatever it's called in Moscow, is directly stating, we are absolutely going to target your British military facilities. Man, are we paying attention to this, that this is going on right now? China deploys record number of ships around Taiwan as pressure goes. Wow. So, ladies and gentlemen, the first theme of our full throttle next week is what? War. Man, this market right now is whistling past the graveyard with a lot of these potential things. I'm old enough to remember a couple of years ago, Xi Jinping getting dressed in his Mao outfit, in his olive drab, and speaking to his PLA general saying, you will be ready to invade Taiwan by 27. If you want to screen for command in the Chinese army, you want to be ready earlier than that date. So what are we going to do? How are markets going to react when, not if, Xi moves to take back Taiwan? And it's our fault too, folks, because we had this ambiguous, well, I guess it's not ambiguous, even though they call it that, right? We have strategic ambiguity. No, we don't. We have a one China policy. Our own policy says Taiwan is part of China, but we sell them weapons and, tanks and fighter jets and stuff or equipment? Huh. So I'm telling you, man, this is a bubbling cauldron of potential bad on the horizon. It's pretty interesting that Iran, biting off its nose to spite its face. I saw, news. We have a established corridor through the Strait of Hormuz. It's been demined. Admiral Cooper from CENTCOM has said, hey, it took a little while, but man, we are fully open in the Strait of Hormuz. And we still have a naval blockade against Iran. I saw Secretary Bessent, I forget the name of the bank, I'll mispronounce it, but a UAE bank who's facilitated 1.8 billion in transfers to over 100 Iranian shadow entities to keep their economy afloat. We just hammered that bank. Bessent did. Like, hey man, they effed around and they just found out. So coming down hard on some folks, but Bessent didn't come down hard on who needed it the most, which is China. So I don't understand what's going on. Maybe Trump's going to bring the heat when he meets with Xi in person at the end of next month. Beautiful People Conference. Warsh, man, a few words, but what I took from it was hawkish. I think it was this, yeah, rate hike odds spike as Chair Warsh tilts hawkish. Questions AI productivity timing, prefers a quieter Fed. Folks, that's I think you guys know me if you're a regular watcher of my sit rep. Man, Jerome Powell, biggest failure of a Fed chief in our history, and that's hard to top with Bernanke getting involved in the global financial crisis in 2008. But Jerome Powell cutting. He cut rates in front of the election to try and help Kamala. Wait, I thought inflation was great and the job market was great. Why would you cut 50 basis? He should have, you guys heard me at the time, I said, my God, man, this guy needed to raise rates 50 basis points. I've been consistent in this, folks. I'm not some raging hyperpartisan. The Fed should have been raising rates a long time ago. I can't believe we're still sitting here right now, because inflation obviously is nowhere near the target of 2%. So I think we got a storm coming in the fall here, folks. But how about NVIDIA? I shot an iron condor that went right through the uprights. I sent out a tactical trade alert earlier in the week, and NVIDIA's given some of the gap back. Let's go look at NVIDIA. It broke its earnings curse. Well, at least for the initial couple days. But look at that, man. Boom. And then look at that. Right in the middle of our iron condor. Men lie, trades don't. Let's go to our tactical trade alerts thread. Look at this. New tactical trade alert, NVIDIA earnings brief. I put it all in there. Let's go take a look at the trade. Let me go scroll down here. Look at that. The 222.5 bear call spread and the 195 bull put spread. Boom. Right through, we're at 220 right now, ladies and gentlemen. This trade will expire in about 2 hours and 59 minutes for a max profit. Look at that. I call it a football trade. We are splitting. You don't have to split the uprights. Hell, it can hit one of the uprights, and as long as the ball goes in, the stock goes through, it's a max profit. But ladies and gentlemen, again, men lie, trades don't. This was an awesome report, and it bucked the trend for the first time. And I can't wait for the next NVIDIA earnings to add this earnings to it, because this was incredible. NVIDIA breaks its post-earnings curse with a 442 billion, that's a B, day. My God, man. And it was filthy. It was disgusting. I haven't seen an earnings like this in a long time. They are printing money hand over fist. They've raised their guidance. I mean, anybody see a trend here? I'm just a political science major from South Philly, South Jersey, and we are heading up and to the right, man, in NVIDIA. Buy it with both hands. Love my Amazon, love my NVIDIA. Those are names we trade in our solo AI model portfolio, and we are just having an absolute blast doing it. Couple things. I can't stand Zuckerberg, the human snake. He reminds me of, what's his name, Data from Star Trek. Man, $18 billion sentiment. I love the Florida Attorney General. He's like, yeah, we're not part of that. The damages are worse and we're going after him even more. But what a disgusting business model. Did you see some of the emails in court? Like, yeah, target the young ones. They're target rich. And they knew what they were doing, getting these kids hooked, and the likes and the this and the everything. So Zuckerberg being called on the carpet. But yeah, I mean, he can find 18 billion in his couch. But these tech companies, man, absolute disgusting organizations. Sit up straight. I'm telling you, this is going to happen. Democrats are gearing up for a wave of investigation into Trump and his allies. Because somebody asked me, and look at the next headline. Corporate America cut big checks to Trump. Now CEOs fear subpoenas are coming. Oh, you can be damn right the subpoenas are coming. Tech firms are courting Democrats and hiring advisors to prepare for potential investigation if Republicans lose control. Man, they are windsocks right? And I get it. A CEO has a fiduciary duty to who? Their shareholders, not to anybody else. And whoever's in office, we're going to be cutting them checks. So get ready for the winds to shift. But, somebody recently, because I'm bearish on SpaceX, short-term bearish, not long-term, somebody's like, oh, are you wrong with SpaceX? And I'm like, no, because, there was this recent, kind of pop right here. I'm like, are you insane? Do you not know? I can't even say this, but I'll say it. Speaker of the House, Hakeem Jeffries, or Majority Leader Schumer. Oh my God. Or head of the Senate Finance Committee, Elizabeth Warren. They are going to literally drag Elon Musk up the Capitol Hill. They're going to rip them apart for Doge, right? You remember Doge? That thing was a bottle rocket. So they're going to investigate all that stuff, subpoenas flying, and they're going to investigate Starlink and SpaceX and everything like that. I'm telling you, listen to me when I say stuff like this, folks. The market is underpricing what's going to potentially happen. Now, Trump's still going to be president, but he's a lame duck. The last 2 years of Trump's presidency could be an absolute train wreck with a divided Washington. And you got people like Al Sayed, Democrat socialist, and Hassan Piker, and America deserved 9/11, and all these nuts. So Wall Street does not like this type of stuff. They can cut all the checks they want, but they're not going to be able to buy off some of these true nuts who are going to go crazy and rip these companies to shred. That will be bearish, I guarantee you. We'll talk about this Monday in Solo AI, but SpaceX talking about $100 billion spaceport. Where are you getting the cash, dude? So, SpaceX, I love Elon Musk. I could not be more bullish longer term on SpaceX, but for the next 6 months, maybe even a year, we're going to pound this thing into the dirt. But this was the headline that made my week. States should start planning now for FDA approval of psychedelics. A federal, that's not Wiz, that's a federal government agency. This is the same week the same day, you ready? The morning, I woke up to my phone blowing up. Have you seen the New York Times article? Americans face risks at psychedelic clinics in other countries. Yeah, no kidding. Duh. And as I'm reading that, I know people in that article. I know places. I've been, you guys know me, I've been warning about the Wild West in Mexico and Costa Rica and stuff like that. Thankfully, I go and vet our places. I know people. But the same day the New York Times article came out, this came out. From SAMHSA, right? The Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. Oh my God. You would think they'd be like, no, yes to psychedelics. So why am I rambling about this? Because, man, I've been busting my ass for over 5 years to make this happen. Look at the names. Look at Definium. You have got to get long-term bullish on Definium. I have no idea what you're waiting for. Compass will have an FDA approved, it ain't a drug, I'm going to say medicine, FDA approved medicine, Q1. Folks, this fall, these companies will be submitting NDAs, new drug applications. Q1 of 2027, you will see FDA approval in many of these companies. The stocks are going to rip or they're going to get bought out by big pharma. What do you mean I guarantee it's going to happen? It's already happening. Ty, Eli Lilly, man, this is... I don't know what else to say. If you're not getting bullish on these names, and you can, go buy some lotto ticket calls, man. Go out to January or February on, Compass, for example, and start buying some upside calls, man. It's not a matter of if, but when, right? So I absolutely love this news this week because you guys know me. Hopping on an airplane to fly to another country to help heal heroes who incurred trauma serving this one is infuriating. We need to heal our heroes at home, and this is what I've been trying to do for over 5 years. There's no way in hell you could have told me it was a little over 5 years ago, laying on my back on a mattress in Mexico, that I would have been in the White House in April with the president signing executive order on Ibogaine. But that's how God works. That's how walking in the path appears in front of you. So I'm just so fired up. We're going to talk about the psychedelic sector as well during our Full Throttle. We'll do that Wednesday morning, September 9th at 10 a.m. Eastern. So head to www.topgunoptions.com/full-throttle. You've got to opt in to get access to the replay if you can't make it to the briefs live. And obviously, you're going to get access to that bullish on America report because even with the potential train wreck coming in the fall, ultimately the market will recover and we're going to move up and to the right. Have a great rest of your day. Fights on. Namaste and whiz out.